Hello, I'm Jane Fairfax. I'm a psychotherapist in private practice in Santa Rosa, California. And that name of my town, Santa Rosa, California, might jog some memories for people. That was the town that burned, almost half of it burned during the fires, especially the Tubbs fire in 2017. Homes were lost, lives were lost, and people were really traumatized. And the smart ones came into psychotherapy almost immediately. I left Santa Rosa to go on a trip with my daughter right in the middle of the fires. And she and I went to England, and when we were in London, the first thing we did was turn on the television, which showed picture after picture of Santa Rosa burning down. There was no getting away from it. And I didn't know, really, if I was going to have a house to come back to. The town was going up in flames, and I didn't know if my house would be safe or not. The house I had originally lived in was destroyed. And I think after that, meeting people in the store or bumping into friends on the street, we all were talking about one thing, and that was the fires. Were you okay? Were you safe? Was your family okay? Did everybody get out okay? Did you save your dog? And I think the whole town had post-traumatic stress syndrome. We all had it. And I don't think a lot of us knew what we were going through. We were looking at the fact that our stores weren't there, or our friends had moved away, or our doctors had moved away. And so we were in a state of flux, of loss, of grief, and I don't think anybody put a label on it, but the whole town had post-traumatic stress disorder. And that's an interesting topic because a lot of people think, oh, that's soldiers. Soldiers get post-traumatic stress. That's not true. I think in our lives, we all may be faced with that from time to time. We all have a trauma. A lot of the traumas that we face in life are with a small t, like somebody bumps into you in the supermarket with their cart and it just irritates the heck out of you and you think about it, or you have an argument with somebody and boy, later on you think what you really should have said, and those things are usually processed pretty quickly, pretty rapidly. The big capital T traumas are the ones like the loss of a friend, or a sudden shock, or a battle in war, or the loss of your town. And those may linger. By and large, most people recover from these things. They get over it in 2 or 3 months. If you have an automobile accident, you can drive by the place where you were hit or your car was damaged. After about 3 or 4 months, you're usually working it out and your nervous system calms down and you feel more like yourself. It's the long term when it doesn't go away. When sleep is affected, when you're having nightmares or upsets in your stomach, or you break out into cold sweats when you hear a siren, or just the area where you were maybe injured in an automobile accident, that can say, this is more than just normal post-traumatic stress. This is getting into the chronic stage. In my private practice, I see a lot of people with post-traumatic stress. That's kind of the focus of my work. And in fact, that's why I'm doing this video, because this is something I think people need to understand and to know what post-traumatic stress is and how to deal with it and how to avoid it in the future. I was seeing people in the first week after all of that horror happened, and I think those people tended to do better because they were practicing how to get over that. So post-traumatic stress means that's post is after, traumatic, the event, stress, and that's the stuff that builds up. Those are the things that we don't process maybe. I'll just think about something else. I'll go to a movie or watch TV, but then I find that my stomach's upset. every time I see a war movie, or I find that I snap at people and I have a very short temper. Those are the things that alert you to the fact that maybe you need to talk to somebody else about this. That talking, and even in community, in conversations with other people, you don't hold it all inside. This is not a big secret that we're supposed to keep. This is something that we're supposed to talk about, share, get responses from other people. One of the most thrilling things that I have found is that there's a new movement toward resilience training that gets people to the point where you look back at your life and you say, where did I succeed? Where was I strong? Not a therapist that tells you, well, this is what you're doing wrong, or a friend that says, you need to see somebody because you're really off base. No, this is a way of looking at life and your own life that can really pay off in the long run. So the guy bumping into you in the supermarket doesn't get you really that upset anymore, that you go, oh, that was rude. But you don't have to go into a real downer about it. You don't have to argue while you're trying to fall asleep at night. So post-traumatic stress is going to be kind of the subject of what I'm going to be talking about. And I hope you come back and listen, because it's important. It's going on in our world. We're faced with it every time we watch television, every time we read the newspaper, if you read a newspaper, books, movies, everything. It's all out there. And it's preventable in many cases by finding out what you've done in the past and focusing on your strengths rather than what are possibly your weaknesses. And talking to others. The community and the help that's out there is growing. So it's not something that you have to deal with alone. Okay, I'll see you soon.